And good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of the California Department of Veteran Affairs and the California Transition Assistance Program, I want to welcome you to this virtual webinar today on compensation and pension. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a training coordinator here in the CalTAP unit, and we have a great webinar for you today in partnership with the American River College Veteran Resource Center. We want to thank them for joining us today and partnering with us for this event. So we have some great information. I'd like to go over a little bit of housekeeping with you today before we get started. We have my colleague, Michael Monk, is going to be running the Q&A portion as well as the chat feature. He will be putting some information and resources in the chat for your benefit. He will be putting in our resource book, a copy of the PDF of this webinar, and also some informational resource links as we go through. There's also a guest speaker that we have today. We have our link coordinator from the North Valley Link, Cole Wagner. He's going to talk about his roles and responsibilities in the North Valley region. And then we have Rochelle Arnold, who is our County Veteran Service Office for Sacramento, and she's going to be our keynote speaker on the compensation and pension and applying for your benefits and how to do that through her office. And then we're going to wrap everything up at the end with a virtual panel of Q&A. All the subject matter experts will be available to answer any questions on any of the information that you received throughout this webinar. So again, thank you for joining us today for this webinar. This is the Q&A portion. If you're not familiar with the Zoom feature, you just open the Q&A tab and you can type your question in during this webinar at any time, and the expert for that question will get back with you. They'll either type the information in or we can address it at the end during the Q&A. Again, my name is Kirk Eller, not Ashley Daga. I apologize for that. And I am a training coordinator here in the California Department of Veteran Affairs. And maybe I have the wrong information on here, so I hope it's the right webinar. Let me check and see. If not, I'm going to have to change this over real quick. Yeah, I apologize, everyone. Please excuse me. I'm going to grab the other webinar, the other slide presentation. I apologize for that. Okay, again, I apologize for that discrepancy. I had the wrong presentation on the slide presentation. My apologies. My name is Kirk Eller. I am a training coordinator here at the California Department of Veteran Affairs in the CalTAP unit. I am a Marine Corps veteran, and I served from 1986 to 1990 as a helicopter crew chief. And then I had some issues with getting in contact with my benefits. So I'm very passionate about providing this information to you and very knowledgeable on the difficulties and the challenges that you face as a veteran trying to access some of those benefits. So first, I'd like to start off with what CalTAP is. The CalTAP program was actually designed to inform and connect veterans of all eras on your earned federal and state benefits. And then we want to provide that continued support as those needs change over time. So the things that you're going to be accessing when you first separate from the military may be much different than they are, say, 10 or 20 years down the road. How we do that is through our 5 pathways. We have a core curriculum, education pathway, employment, and then entrepreneurship. There's also a 5th pathway for service providers. For those of you that may be interested in working with veterans or having an organization, this is a training tool that we use for them as well. This is our CalTAP portal on our website. You can access it through calvet.ca.gov on the website, and then click the icon for CalTAP, and then that will take you to this portal. You can see each one of those pathways are listed there, and I highly encourage you to go through each one of these. There's some modules that you can go through that are self-paced and gain some more insight into some of the information that we have. At the bottom of the page, there's also an archives link for previously recorded webinars. And then you can also access our previously recorded webinars on our YouTube channel as well. So first, I'd like to go over some of your California-specific benefits. This is a condensed version so that we can spend more time on the topic of the day, which is compensation and pension. On this slide, you can see on the left-hand side is what your California benefits are. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to see each one of our Calvet divisions, which are the home loans, women divisions, minority divisions, and then our homes and cemeteries. But the left side is going to focus specifically on what your benefits for California are as a California veteran. Some of the most popular ones are our fee waiver for tuition fee waiver for veteran dependents, and our veteran designation on your driver's license. Also, the motor vehicle registration fee waiver is very popular as well. I do want to note that the top three on the left side, each one of those are going to require you to access those benefits through your county veteran office. The remaining benefits, like your fishing and hunting license and your state park pass, you would access those benefits specifically at those websites for wildlife.gov and the California Parks website. Now, your property tax exemption and your business tax exemptions, you're going to want to contact your local county office, your tax assessor's office, or the city where you live to find out what benefits you may be eligible for. This is our veteran resource book. This is what the hard copy looks like right here, and on the back has our phone number. My colleague Michael will be putting this link in the chat, as well as a PDF version that you can download specifically to your device. I encourage you to do that because then you can have the benefits, that information readily at your fingertips. Some other websites that you may want to be familiar with are the va.gov. This website has access to your healthcare, disability, as well as records and education benefits. And any of your earned VA benefits, you can manage them at the va.gov. So I mentioned that CalVet does want to stay connected with you, and we want to do that in a variety of ways. We have a bunch of QR codes here for our links for CalVet, our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And then we would also like you to ask to provide your non-DoD email to caltab@calvet.ca.gov. You can also register on our website for My CalVet, and then you can also add CalVet Veteran Services on social media, which is there, attend webinars like this, and then also fill out a survey like the link that's here. The QR code can take you to the survey for this webinar. This is my contact information. If you need any information on these California benefits or any other information above, please email me, and I'll be more than happy to get back with you on what your needs are. And now I'm going to turn it over to Cole Wagner. He is our local interagency network coordinator for the North Valley, and he can give you an overview of what his roles and responsibilities are. Thank you, Cole.
Hey, thank you, Kirk. As Kirk said, my name is Cole Wagner. I am an Army veteran, and I also, like Kirk, had some difficulties finding out what my benefits were when I left service and even for years after that. And so I'm very passionate as well about letting people know what their benefits are and how they can get access to them. Next slide, please. So what is a link? A local interagency network coordinator. It's kind of just a really long, wordy title for somebody who connects people to resources and connects resources to other resources. So in California, if you've traveled around a lot, you notice that there's a lot of geographic differences, differences in population size, things like that all over this huge state that we live in. And so sometimes it can be difficult to figure out where things are if you're not from a particular area, if you just moved somewhere, something like that. And so in California, we have the link program through CalVet, where We have 8 regional coordinators. My region is the one in the orange up there in the very top. And these 8 coordinators are experts in their particular region. So if you live in a particular area, like say we're currently partnered with American River College in Sacramento, California. So if you're a student at American River College, or you live in Sacramento or anywhere in Northern California, you have somebody like me that you can contact to ask questions about where to go to get a particular resource. Maybe you have some problem and you want to see if there's a veteran resource that can help you solve that problem. So all of our contact information for all of our email addresses is on the screen, and also in the chat, you can download this map. So if you're not zooming in here from Sacramento, California, American River College, you can find your local area interagency network coordinator and ask them a question about what's available in your area and how can you get it. Next slide, please. So some of the things we do outreach events like this. We do in person, we do over the web, we do over the phone, making referrals and working with those provider networks. So all kinds of great folks who are doing amazing things for veterans all over California. We are helping get them connected to veterans and connected to one another so that we can all work together to give veterans the best service possible. Next slide, please. So these are just a couple of the folks that we work with a lot. We work with the Employment Development Department for employment and training. We work with the county veteran service offices like you will meet today. We work with other CalVet agencies. We work with other state agencies, other county agencies, the federal VA. We work with the VA medical centers and clinics all over the state of California. And one of our great partners are the veteran resource centers like at American River College. Next slide, please. So this is my contact information. That's my email and my cell phone. If you have questions, you can email me, you can call me, you can text me. I'll get you directed to the right place. If you live in Northern California, it'll probably be me directing you. If you live somewhere else in California, I can get you to your local interagency network coordinator and they can get you to the right spot. So I'm really excited about this webinar and happy to be here and looking forward to Rochelle's great information. Thank you, Kurt.
Thank you, Cole. We appreciate everything that you do up there in the North Valley. And now I'm going to turn it over to Rochelle Arnold. She is our keynote speaker today for this webinar, which is focused primarily on compensation and pension. But she's going to go over what she does as a county veteran officer. And that's why we wanted to get through this overview rather quickly so that she can provide more information on this topic and give you guys time to answer questions during the Q&A portion. Thank you for joining us, Rochelle. We appreciate you partnering with us today.
Thank you so much, Kirk. Good morning or afternoon, I guess now, huh? My name is Rochelle Arnold. I am the daughter of a Vietnam veteran who went on to serve 20 years in the Navy in the 80s and 90s. And then I am a retired Air Force veteran, first sergeant, and now I'm the mom of an active duty service member. My oldest just joined the Air Force this past year. So very well versed in veteran benefits and know what it means to have served and help those that serve so bravely in, different branches of the service. So next slide, please. So to receive benefits, there's benefits on multiple levels, right? So you have your federal benefits, which you're going to connect with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Then the state benefits, CalVet, California Department of Veterans Affairs, administers state benefits for our veterans. And then at my level is the California Association of County Veteran Service Officers. So there's one county veteran service office in every county in California. So I have counterparts all over the state that assist veterans. So if you don't live in Sacramento County, no worries. You can contact your local county veteran service officer to get any benefits that you need from their office. And then we also work with the different service providers, so veteran service organizations such as Disabled American Veterans, Swords to Plowshares, American Legion. They also do have reps that file claims in those organizations. Not saying anything against them, but I think our office does it a whole lot better. Next slide, please. So U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs at the federal level, they're broken up into 3 distinct administrations. So you have the Veterans Health Administration, which covers everything medical for veterans. We do help in our office enroll, process enrollment forms. We can fax them over to Mather Eligibility and Enrollment Center if the veteran comes in and doesn't want to go out there to just initially submit the form. We can do that, and then they'll set up an appointment to determine eligibility for any health benefits that the veteran might be eligible for. Then what we mainly deal with is the Veteran Benefits Administration. So this is where your compensation, pension, education, spousal benefits, all of that falls under veteran benefits. So anything to do with money or education falls under your veteran benefits. Home loans is also in there. And then your readiness and employment. So veterans who are, served but need to look at getting a different occupation. There is a program for that the Veteran Benefits administers. And then, of course, the National Cemetery Administration, they deal with everything from burial benefits, presidential memorial certificates. They take very good care of their cemeteries. There's one down in Dixon. If you haven't been to one, I highly suggest you go and visit one. It's an amazing experience, and they take care of everything. Even taking unclaimed veterans, which I recently had to transport one down who ended up being brought into our office. So we try to take care of everything as best we can for our veterans, whether living, deceased, they have questions about things, and survivors benefits as well. And then CalVet, obviously, the things that they do for in-state California veterans are amazing. The California Transition Assistance Program, I know I've worked with Cole in the past, and they go to the bases, they go to the colleges. So they specifically deal with everything that you guys get as veterans in California. The college fee waiver, our office does administer that. There's different plans depending on income levels of the students and whether it's a student, a child of a veteran, or a spouse of a veteran. Home loans, veterans homes, all of this falls under CalVet. So we do administer the college fee waiver program. So if you have questions about that specifically, make sure you reach out to our office and we'll let you know exactly what you need for that, as well as putting veteran status on driver's licenses or real IDs, and processing the registration waivers for 100% permanent and total veterans. Next slide, please. So what do? We basically provide veterans and dependents free benefit information, assistance, and counseling. And if we can't do something for that veteran immediately in our office, we are plugged into all of the other resources, both in the county and with the VA, to try to get them answers for whatever questions that they may have and get them the assistance that they need. So this is a little bit old. In 2020, the County Veteran Services offices brought in approximately $540 million in new federal benefits and over $336 million in continuing benefits for California veterans. So this is all money that goes into veterans' pockets. So when we help file disability, pension, survivor benefits, that's all counted in this money. So that money goes directly into veterans' pockets to hopefully improve their quality of life. Next slide, please. So types of assistance we provide, we do comprehensive benefits counseling. So if you have questions about, well, can I file a claim? I got hurt in the service. How do I go about filing a claim? That's what our office comes in and helps you guys do. We network and advocate with state, federal, and local agencies on behalf of our veterans. We process dependency and indemnity compensation for survivors. So that would be if a veteran passes away from a service-connected condition. There's certain requirements that have to be met there as far as time of that the veteran and the spouse have been married. and things like that. But that gets dependents, surviving spouses, some tax-free benefit should the veteran pass away. Burial benefits, we help process those and apply for burial benefits and reimbursement. So we file claims for both compensation and pension. We can pull records requests from the National Personnel Records Center. We do touch on discharge upgrades. We don't actually do much assisting with those. That becomes, it has to go through the veteran's branch of service, and the veteran has a lot of work to do in requesting that discharge upgrade because they need to provide some character references, things like that, in order to get their discharge upgraded. But we do have some information in our office about how to go about doing that. And then, like I said, the college fee waiver, we do administer those, and also the veteran designation on real IDs and driver's licenses. Next slide, please. So in order to apply for disability compensation through the Veteran Benefits Administration, there's multiple ways to do that. So a service-connected disability, if a veteran was injured, exposed to something toxic like Agent Orange, or had an illness that's diagnosed in service, that could be caused by, direct caused by, aggravated by, or first diagnosed in military service. So those are 3 ways that you can apply for disability, for service-connected disability. And it has to be chronic in nature. So if you had a sinus infection once that's in your service records, that's not considered chronic, right? So we would tend to want to know, like, if it's chronic. I mean, I will look at medical records and kind of help a veteran walk through that process. Or if there's residuals of something, if you broke your leg in service and now you have constant pain in your leg and limited range of motion in your leg, and you've been getting care for that even since you left the service, then we can apply for a service-connected disability benefit. Next slide, please. So what's required for that? So something happens to you while you're in service, fall off of a piece of equipment, or God forbid, get shot, or see something that's, mentally taxing for the veteran. So an injury, disease, exposure, or event, like I talked about a little bit earlier, and you have a current condition. So that a current diagnosis of that injury or illness. So if you left the service 5 years ago and haven't gone for any treatment related to whatever happened to you in service, then the VA can deny that claim for no current diagnosis, right? So you want to make sure that whatever you want to claim as related to your military service, that you're still getting care for that even when you leave the service. So that nexus, that's what I'm talking about, that link between military and current conditions. So if you had a leg injury in 1976 and now you want to claim in 2022 that whatever knee pain you're having is a result of that injury you had in 1976, well, you may need a doctor to connect those 2 things for you, so that way the VA can look at it and not initially deny the claim. So a medical nexus is what they're talking about in that. Next slide, please. So how do we get you service connected? Next slide. So when you initially come in, a lot of veterans are not ready to actually file their claim. So we would submit what's called an intent to file. That is not an actual claim. That just tells the VA that we intend on filing a claim. And it gives the veteran 1 year from the date the VA receives that intent to file to actually gather up all their evidence and file the actual claim for service connection. So once you do that, you're going to start gathering up your evidence, right? So you don't necessarily need your service record. It's helpful if you do have it, but it's not necessary. The only people that actually need their service medical records are any veteran who's wants to file a before discharge determination. which means that if they're within 180 to 90 days of getting out of the service, they can file their claim while they're still in. And then the VA will do their best to process that claim so that they get their rating at the same time that they leave the service. But those veterans do need to pull their medical records because the VA will not be able to pull them until after they get their DD-214. You want to get any current medical records that you have related to the conditions that you want to file for that shows that diagnosis and that continuity of care after you've left the service. And any additional medical opinions, if you need a nexus letter, any kind of medical opinion that says X causes Y, then we want to get those in your record as well to hopefully help push that claim to be successful. So current treatment records. So if it's not in your service record, then you want to get your current treatment record and any nexus letters to show that connection of what you did in service. Like right now, I have a veteran who was a parachutist in the Army and in infantry, and they denied his tinnitus. So I'm trying to get him to go back and get a nexus letter and all that and do some more digging on making sure that we can appeal that claim and get that service connected for him. So then once you have all of your information that you're ready to submit, then you want to come in. We do mostly walk-ins, but you can make appointments with our office as well. But you want to bring everything back to that VSO to actually file your claim. Once the claim is filed, then the VA will process your claim. So that means that they'll send you out a letter stating that they've received it, and then they'll schedule you for a compensation exam. You'll go meet with that examiner, and then it's basically waiting for the VA raters to get all that information, review everything, and then give you a rating decision on the claim. Next slide, please. So discharge upgrades, like I said, we don't do a whole lot of helping with those, but there is information on the slide. If you do need any assistance with discharge upgrades, we can provide you the information. So a veteran can file a claim with honorable, general under honorable, and other than honorable. The VA will make the determination as to what period of service might have been honorable for VA purposes. If they deem any of the service honorable for VA purposes with an other than honorable discharge, then they may grant either access to care, and in some cases they may grant compensation depending on what time period they deem honorable and whether those injuries or illnesses fell within that time period. Next slide, please. So how do you find your CVSO? So in the Calvet resource book, there is a directory in the hard copy, so you can look on that. Next slide. And on the website, if you go to the Calvet's website, you can go to find a service provider. And if you click on that, it should bring up search by location. So you can put in your zip code, you can put in a maximum distance to search, and then you hit the search button. And then, or you can call the 844-SERVE-VET, and they will tell you where your closest CVSO office is. Next slide. So this is me. That is my personal desk number, as well as my county cell phone number and my email address. If you are going to call our office, I will give you another, I'll put another main number in the chat because I'm not always sitting at my desk. So if you want to contact me, the best way is either to email me first. I do have 4 vet reps that work in the office, so they are all accredited to file claims for veterans and answer any questions you have. So my team is highly competent, and they will help you and answer any questions that you do have with regards to filing a claim and walk you through that whole process. And that is all I have for now until there's questions.
Thank you, Rochelle. I question, can you kind of like decipher the difference between the pension and the compensation of what the disability compensation is? I think maybe a lot of people are kind of like misguided and misunderstood on actually what the differences are between pension and compensation for a disability claim.
Okay. So disability claim is just as it was described. So a veteran has an injury, illness, exposure in service to something, a medical issue, right? And it's tax-free compensation that the VA provides in order to compensate you for those disabilities. Pension is a needs-based program. So they look at the veteran's income for pension. The veteran has to have served during a recognized period of war, has to have served at least 90 days. There are stipulations, I believe it's after I can't remember the exact year, I think it's 80 something, where they have to have served a minimum of 24 months in order to qualify with at least 1 day of active in a wartime period. They don't have to have served in combat, they just have to have served during that recognized period in order to qualify for pension. So if you do have a veteran who's low to no income, definitely send them our way. And we can possibly assist them with pension. It does not qualify for peacetime vets, only if they've served during a recognized period of war. And that is taxed, so it does affect certain aspects of if they're receiving Social Security and things like that. It can, they do affect each other. So, but disability compensation is not counted as income. It's all tax-free. That the VA pays for any disabilities that you've incurred as a result of service.
Great. Thank you for that clarification. I appreciate that. I know that's one of those common questions in this that people don't understand what pension and compensation is. So we appreciate that.
No worries.
Okay, now my colleague Michael has been, he's been moderating the chat and the Q&A as well as Cole. I'd like to invite Michael and Cole to join us now for this Q&A, the virtual. There's a couple questions in there. I think there was some for the college fee waiver, and then also for Rochelle for the Nexus letters. And I saw Cole typing away on there, so I appreciate Cole answering the questions as we've gone through. So Michael, what do we have?
Yes, so we got about one last question that came up here, and they're just saying that they do have 100% disability rating with the VA, and what does California provide that would be specific to California, and where can I find the benefits?
Great.
Kirk, for that one, I would say one of the best resources would be to go to the CalTAP website through CalVet's website.
Right.
CalTAP has individual modules, and one of those modules is the California benefits module that explains what all the individual benefits are in California.
Yes, I agree. That is probably one of the best ways virtually to have those resources at your fingertips. Another way is, of course, the resource book. All those California benefits are in there under the chapter for CalTAP. In fact, it's right in the very front. It starts in chapter 1 as your state benefits. So if you're 100%, that opens up a little bit of more doors for your motor vehicle registration fee waiver, as well as maybe your tax exemptions for your property taxes. My recommendation for the property tax benefit is check with your county tax assessor's office, because those are going to vary from county to county as to your taxes.
Okay, the next question here is, my son dependent studies at Sac State. How do I qualify for the college fee waiver? I can answer this one. So for the college fee waiver, it is for dependents of veterans. So in order for you to qualify for that, you're going to have a disability rating, and it can be anywhere from 0 to 100%. And then, once you have that rating, you want to either get a letter from the VA, which you can do it on their website, and they'll generate letters for you of your disability rating. Then you want to go to your local CVSO, what we were talking about earlier, and you want to take that information with you, and then you're going to get an application, and you're going to apply for it that way. The next question here is, can I use VR&E to get educational fee assistance if I already have a job when I want to, or if I want to switch my job?
Okay, on the VR&E, I'm a VR&E alumni. I use the Veterans Employment Readiness Program. It used to be vocational rehabilitation. It's now Veteran Readiness and Employment. This is actually a benefit available to veterans as an employment benefit. However, there are some assistance that will be eligible for you to use for educational assistance up to 48 months. What you would need to do is go to a county veteran office or contact the VA regional offices and apply for VR&E. A caseworker will determine your eligibility. You will need, primarily they're looking for, if you have a service-connected disability rating from the VA that's preventing you from gainful employment. And that's the bottom line. It doesn't really matter what your disability rating is. It could be 10% or 20%, but if that disability prevents you from holding a job gainfully and then making a living, you can apply for VR&E. And then you can also use it in a variety of ways. They can get you a certificate of training. They can get you a full bachelor's degree. They can just get you any kind of certificate or vocational training, like I mentioned, that's going to get you into a job that is gainful. So that's their goal. You have to go through their program, and it is very in-depth, and they will determine eligibility based on a case-by-case basis.
All right, thank you very much, Kirk. So that looks like the last bit of questions that we had here. And unless anybody has any more questions or anything else that they want to say. I think there's one more that came in here. How do I obtain a Schedule A for applying for a job I feel I am qualified for?
Not sure what the Schedule A for applying for, is that for the VR&E or?
Yeah, I'm not sure as well.
I'm a little, I don't understand what the Schedule A for applying for a job is. Oh, okay. So if you're applying for government jobs through USA Jobs, Schedule A would be for your veterans preference. I'm not sure what the Schedule A is. I can't familiarize that. I'm trying to think that. I know that you can apply your veteran preference through your standard form 15, I believe, is the standard. SF15 is your veterans preference form for government jobs, and you can submit that. I don't know what the Schedule A for applying for a job is if you're qualified for. I'm not quite sure there. That would be an Office of OPM or Department of Labor question about the USA Jobs for that federal position.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that might be it here. Oh, okay, we have one more here. It says, I've submitted VA Form 21A to become a certified VA claim agent. Are there any websites or study material available? I've been immersed in Title 38 CFR.
VA claim agent. I think that would be a Rochelle question for a VA claim agent. I'm not sure about the VA.
I know most of the time you have to be, in order to apply for OGC accreditation number, you have to be associated with some type of organization or be an attorney. Like they don't just give them out to anybody. So like when I became a VSO, I had 1 year from the time I was hired to get trained and accredited. So there's a test I had to take in order to pass my accreditation test to actually file claims for veterans. So I'm not really sure. That would be a question that you'd have to probably contact the OGC directly and ask them if you wanted to do it just on your own, if they would do that. Because when I looked at the application, it looked like you had to either belong to an organization like American Legion has accreditations, counties have accreditations, states have accreditations. So I'm not sure. And then attorneys have their own route what they go through with the OGC in order to get accreditation numbers. So I would probably recommend contacting them directly.
Right.
Okay, so another question here is what happens when you contact the CV, the certain service offices and no one responds? So I guess the person is just having difficulty getting through to a CVSO.
Okay.
Yeah, I would just suggest you can always you're not limited by geography. I will say that. So if you are not able to get a hold of a CVSO office or any service officer, as Rochelle mentioned, they are nationally accredited. So there are other service officers that can do your claim work for you. On our website, we went through the process to find the service officer in your area, or there's a listing by county. You can go to a neighboring county service office or any other way that you wanted to go through reaching a service officer through a service organization like VFW or American Legion or DAV. But you're not limited by where you live to picking a service officer.
Okay, and another question here is there's someone out there that's retiring on June 30th, between June 30th and July 1st, and they're wondering if there's any point applying for the California tuition fee exemption waiver for dependents.
I just typed an answer to that question.
Okay.
So what we recommend, if you have a college age student and you are getting ready to apply for your VA disability compensation, if you're going to put in a claim with the VA, go ahead and submit the application for the fee waiver at the same time. And then we'll deny it for no disability rating, but then we can go back and retroactive that fee waiver as soon as you get your disability rating.
For the next question, I would recommend the person about the CalVet stance on the discrimination issue to contact our communications department. We are not at liberty to decipher these kind of things from our CalVet views. You can contact our CalVet office of communications through our website and contact us if you have any questions about any kind of outstanding suits or discrimination files, complaints against CalVet. So I would recommend you to contact our communications department for that. Thank you.
Okay, the next question here is, I was awarded a 60% disability and was just granted additional funds for a spouse. We have been married for 41 years. Can I receive retroactive pay since my July 2020 award date?
So I would need to see the disability award letter, the date on it. If you applied for the additional funds for your spouse within 1 year of that original decision date, then they should grant it back to that original date. So I would need to see the dates and how that would line up on your when you applied for the additional funds for your spouse. But generally, the VA will retro that back once you submit the application to add your spouse to your award. They'll retro it back to the same date the veteran was awarded if it's done within the first year of that decision letter, if that makes sense.
Okay, and the next question we have here is, they are 100% approved working in healthcare now for 16 years. My disability is making it hard to just walk or sit for long periods of time. And the back injury, I'm thinking I'm at a point to retire, but 20 plus years away for true retirement. What can I do for what assistance is available to me? And to try and fully retire, etc.?
Well, I think if they do have a disability and that disability is preventing them from working, they could be eligible for VR&E through the VA. So if that is an option, I would recommend filling out the form and talking to a case manager through the VA and seeing if VR&E can assist you with maybe some other kind of job or vocational training or certificate that can maybe keep you in the same field without having the same position. There are a bunch of options and availability. So first I would try to talk to the VR&E rep and let the caseworker decide what's going to assist you and benefit you so that it doesn't aggravate your disability and provide that long-term chronic illness.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Kirk.
Yep.
The next question here is where to reach for federal or state contracting business assistance, like BET-Biz certification, etc.
Yeah, okay. The Small Business Administration is going to be your primary tool for any kind of federal related resources for small businesses. Specifically, if you want to have that information for a disabled veteran business to contract with the federal government, which is like a SDVOB, which is a service disabled veteran business owner-owned business. You can contact the Small Business Administration, or you can call what's a Veteran Business Outreach Center, or VBOC. And there's one in Sacramento, and there's another one in Carlsbad, California. And they assist with any small business specifically that are veteran-owned with a disability. So they can assist you with mentoring, accrediting, certifications for doing business with the federal government. So you can contact the VBOC or the Small Business Administration.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so we're going to move on to our last question here, guys. If your question was not answered during this period, you can definitely take down any of our contact information and any of the speakers today, or you can also go on our website and you can email the CalTAP mailbox as well. So this last question here is, what is meant by additional allowances? I'm just kind of wondering maybe what allowances this person is referring to. I don't know if maybe it was something in the PowerPoint or CVSO was talking about, but
right. And Cole's answering the Chapter 35 question. In a nutshell, you can use Chapter 35 benefits congruently with Plan B of the fee waiver, but you can't use Chapter 35 benefits with Plan A. So in a nutshell, quickly, that's what's the bottom line. You can use them together, but you would only use it with Plan B.
Right, Kirk. The Plan B has the income restriction for the child's income.
Correct.
And so if your child is underneath that income restriction level, they can use Chapter 35 benefits and Plan B. Right. But they cannot use Chapter 35 benefits and Plan A of the fee waiver.
Yep, that is correct. So yeah, there's a caveat on each end. A has the age restriction, B has the income restriction. So you kind of like have to weigh your options and which one's going to be beneficial to you in case-by-case basis. So, okay, we have everybody's contact information here. My information is up there, my email, as well as Michael's and Cole's and Rochelle's. We also have Robert Smith, who's the Vet Resource Center for American River College. His information is there, and Robert just joined us. I'm sure he wanted to maybe say something as a, hi, Robert, thank you for joining us and partnering with us for this great information. We want to thank everybody and our partners and Rochelle as well, our guest speakers, for providing this information. And also, we would ask that you will take a peek at some of our upcoming webinars throughout the rest of the month. We have some college hours coming up, and then also discharge upgrades and expungements coming up next week, and then some more higher learning institutes for different topics throughout the month. We would also ask that you will take some time to fill out this survey for this webinar. There's a QR code here, as well as the link on this page for our survey. We do take this information from the surveys very seriously. We try to make constant upgrades and improvements to our webinars that will make those changes that's going to be beneficial to you in meeting your needs as those survey results come in. So please do, we do take that seriously. So take the time and fill out that survey and put that information in there. And at this point, we want to thank you all for your service and your time. I know that Cole's typing the last question in there as we are still a couple more minutes, and we can stay on and answer any more questions as they trickle in for another couple minutes. We're not going to end the webinar just yet, but we do want to take this time to thank you for your service. If you do have no questions and you want to exit, you're welcome to do that, but we will stay on and answer any questions for the next couple minutes because we have 10 more minutes remaining. Robert, would you like to mention or address anything for the Vet Resource Center?
Well, first of all, I want to thank the CalTAP team. So you, Kirk, and Michael, thank you for putting this together. And a special thank you to Rochelle and Cole for being the guest speakers here on this webinar. So I just want to thank you for putting together a great presentation.
Thank you.
So for those that are in the Sacramento area, my name is Robert Smith. I'm the outreach specialist, I guess is what my title, at American River College for their Veterans Resource Center. So if you do plan on attending, like in the Sacramento area, please stop up by our main campus at American River College, and we'll go ahead and help you out. And then if there's any need for like resources or referrals out to the community or anything like that, we are the place to go ahead to assist you. I'm so sorry, my brain is not all here today, but that's all I've got.
Hey Kirk, just real quick, can you upload the PDF of the slideshow to the chat? I tried uploading mine and I'm not sure if it's coming up correctly. I'm not able to open it right.
Let me see if I can go to the correct form. Okay, so I just uploaded a PDF of this presentation for everyone. I'll leave it there for a few minutes and you can download that. This has all the slide presentations in a PDF form, so you can get this entire webinar for your future reference. In the question for the cemeteries and the cremation services for the VA, unfortunately, I don't think the VA will not reimburse for cremation services. I know they will provide reimbursement if they are buried in a private cemetery, other than a non-national cemetery or a state cemetery. They will provide some benefits for reimbursement, and they will provide a headstone and marker free of charge. You just need to contact the Cemeteries and Burials Division to have that done in advance, as well as a presidential certificate. The next question was 100% rating for PTSD versus unemployability. That's a question for the VA. And Cole's answering and typing the answer in. So,
I would just, I can answer a little bit of that. So either way, if you put in for an increase for PTSD, they're going to reevaluate your PTSD, right, according to the criteria. So you need to make sure that you meet that rating schedule for the 100% rating that you're going for, so you don't end up getting your rating decreased. Or the best case scenario would be they'd either increase it or keep it the same, but you don't ever want to go in for an increase and then the VA say, oh, well, this actually got better, right, at a CMP exam. So the more evidence you provide to show that your condition has actually worsened, the better chance you have of getting that next rating. Unemployability, whatever the conditions are that you put on that unemployability form, they will reevaluate as well. So I've seen them both grant unemployability off of a condition. I've seen them just give a veteran a straight 100% for their condition based off of applying for unemployability. I've seen them deny the unemployability and also decrease a rating. So just make sure that you have the supporting medical documentation to show that that condition either A, causes you to be unemployed, or B, it meets that criteria that's in that next rating schedule for requesting an increase.
Thank you, Rochelle. Okay, the next question is related to VEAP benefits and VRNE for your bachelor's degree. VEAP benefits, I believe, I think there were 10-year limitations for the VEAP educational benefits. I know Chapter 30 Montgomery benefits were 10 years. If you did not use those benefits within the 10-year limit, you lost those benefits. So I would assume that the VEAP benefits would be the same, 10 years and use or lose. And then now currently with our Chapter 36 benefits, they're forever GI bills. So they don't have any expiration for the education benefits going forward after January of 2013. So if you separated and you have Chapter 36 benefits eligible for you after January of 2013, your education benefits will never have a limit on them. They will always be available to you. Regards to the refund from that you put into VEAP, I do not believe that is eligible for you to get back money that you put into it, because Montgomery GI Bill was the same way. You put in match dollar for dollar up to a certain point, $1,200, and then they match you up to a certain dollar amount. Questions? I think we're going to go ahead and sign off now. It is 12:57. We want to thank everybody again. Thank you for your service. Thank you for joining us today for this webinar. And we will please take the time to fill out that survey. And we have the PDF of this webinar in the chat function for your future use. Please give us a call if you have any questions going forward, and we can provide services to you that way. Thank you again. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you soon.